What's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to Grayson Media Inc. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe across all platforms. Enjoy the show. Grayson out.
All right. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to Grayson Politics Live, a Grayson Media Inc. production. My name is Grayson, your host. And this is Grayson Politics Live for Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. Today we have a special guest, and we're going to bring her up shortly. Grisell Ramos Romero. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And if I didn't, correct me when you come up. um, well, we talk about facts, transparency, and accountability. Several issues below involve allegations, uh, uh, illegal interpretations, public policy, and debates. Um, um, so, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Grayson Politics Live, produced by Grayson Media Inc. Tonight, we're going to discuss issues affecting thousands of Jersey City homeowners, including water bills, compliance fees, and solid waste fees, and Ordinance 23-097, public transparency, and what residents should expect from elected officials. So I'm going to bring our guest up. Feel free to, uh, for those who are on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, feel free to, Facebook and YouTube, feel free to write in the comments. It's an interactive show, and I'll bring your comments up accordingly up to the screen, as you can see there. Um, let's bring our Grisell up. Welcome. Good evening.
Good
Can
evening.
you hear me? Okay.
I can hear
Um,
you. I
so,
can hear you.
so welcome to Grayson Politics Live. Um, Tell everyone about yourself and what has inspired you to become a civic advocacy in Jersey City.
So my name is Grisell Romero. I am a lifelong resident of Jersey City. I'm a licensed realtor, small business owner, mother, grandmother, and daughter. The reason why I got inspired to become involved in advocacy was the issue with my father. My father, for many of you that know or may not know, is the city's eldest employee at 95. He worked for Jersey City for 30 years. And when my mother passed away, I had to take over the responsibilities of my parents, and I had to deal with the bills and, with his condition and medical issues that he was having. And that's when it came to light that after 30 years of employment, they had failed to enroll him in the pension program. And I had to take on this issue by myself. I had to learn the law. I had to learn pension law. I had to contact the Department of Pensions and Civil Service and deal with Jersey City. That was giving me a lot of pushback. But lo and behold, I was able to prove my case, well, my father's case, and the pension department agreed with us. My father now is in the pension program. Jersey City has promised to make restitution and pay for his contributions and give him health care for life. However, we're still waiting on that. Those promises have not come to fruition. Email, they don't answer. Just a bunch of silence, bunch of promises that never come through. But after what happened to my father, it just inspired me to ask more questions, and I got my bills, my water bills, and it just didn't make any sense. So I started asking questions. I started calling people. I started asking what these compliance fees were, why they were being charged to my bill. There's 100 excuses. Every excuse made no sense. Compliance fees are no access fees. No access fees are punishment fees. Punishment fees now become liens against your house. But how so? With what legal authority? With what proof? With what documentation? I'm sitting here in front of you today, still waiting for those answers.
And that's a shame.
Mhm.
We hope some of our council people are watching. We know your council person is Jake Efros. The mayor needs to be watching, and I will, once the broadcast is done, I will tag him in the comments as well, because there's some here at Grayson Politics, we're about accountability and
Mhm.
transparency and the facts. And for your father to work 30 years, for the city and not have his just due is
Mhm.
ridiculous. And
Absolutely. It's
to
unjust.
yes, you work. I'm a car carrying union member and in hospitality in the city. And excuse my French, I'll be damned if I work for X amount of years and then don't get my
Absolutely. This is not
so
asking for charity. This is asking for what he earned,
correct.
like
So
everybody else. Like everybody else.
Mr.
Mhm.
Afros, we're calling you out, and Mr. Solomon, Mayor Solomon, make things right by her.
Mhm.
I will be sending an email about this. So let's get into it. What do you believe government? What's the biggest? Excuse me. What has been the biggest challenge in speaking out?
Well, there's been many challenges. One of the biggest challenges is getting people to listen, getting your local politician to listen. I call, I leave messages, I send emails. Most of my emails go unanswered. Um, Once you start speaking out, the word gets around, people start reaching out to me, telling me it's happening to them as well. When it first happens, you think this is just happening to you. That this is just a one-off situation. This is just one big mistake until you tell a friend, and then your friend says, wait, that's happening to my cousin. And then that cousin calls you and says, that's happening also to my neighbor. And then so on and so on. And then before you know it, I'm hearing about 10 cases, 15 cases, 20 cases. It has escalated to the point that there's hundreds, if not thousands, of these cases. And our voices are not being heard. Our questions are not being answered. Our demands are not being met. And this is outrageous. This is outrageous. I don't understand why the local politicians are not getting involved. Again, this is not a one off problem. This is happening to hundreds, if not thousands, of Jersey City residents. And it's not just affecting the homeowner, because when bills go up, the rent's going to go up. So this is also affecting the tenants, just like with this budget crisis, and raising our taxes. It's going to trickle down to everyone because the landlord can't sustain these expenses by themselves. So these costs are going to be passed on to the tenants. So everyone suffers here. And it's not just the costs, it's we're losing our local people. We're losing our lifelong residents. We're losing the people who built this city. I've been here for over 50 years. I've lived through the good, the bad, and the ugly. I lived through the crack epidemic. I lived through the AIDS crisis. I lived through the crimes and the gangs. And yet we stayed. We stayed because we believed in Jersey City. We stayed because we love this city. I still love this city. And I'm not going to let anyone push me out. I'm not going to let anyone push me out. I'm tired of standing by, watching these big developers, these big corporations, these government agencies not do anything to help us. As far as I can tell, and as far as I can remember, we're the voters, we're the ones who are paying the taxes, we're the ones that demand the answers because we've put you into office. We've put you into office. So we put accountability on you. We demand accountability. We demand transparency. Where are our answers? Why aren't our voices being heard? It's frustrating. It's frustrating, especially when you hear everyone's story. They're all the same. They're all the same. I call Veolia. Veolia tells me to call JCMUA. JCMUA says, no, you got to call Veolia. They bounce you back and forth, so that you get no answers and you have no point of contact. So at the end of the day, they just push it through. They keep adding these compliance fees on a monthly basis. Comes the end of the year, they send you a letter threatening to put a lien on your house if you don't pay for these fees. And some people have paid them because they've been able to come up with the money to pay for these fees. And these fees are not like $10, $20. These are $550 a month. This is being done systematically for no reason, with no documentation, no warning, and no proof that this is justifiable. It's absurd. I don't know why this is being allowed to happen. Oh, I lost you. I can't hear you.
Sorry about that. $550 another bill.
That's $550 a month, and that's just one compliance fee. They can go up to, I believe it's $1,300 a month, systematically, monthly, $1,300 a month, $1,300 a month, $1,300 a month, on top of your water bill, which, by the way, is also through the roof. Again, unexplainable. I know people that have $100,000 lien put on their house. I know someone else that got a $30,000 lien put on their house. 14,000, 15, 12,000, 9,000. Like, these numbers are astronomical. We demand answers. We demand answers, and not just answers. Let me put it this way. We demand documentation. We want to see the proof that this is justifiable. We want to see the laws that are allowing you to do this to us. We want to see the ordinances, the rules, the regulations, the votes. I want to see the paper trail.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. For anyone to be having a tax lien on their house that they worked so hard for, over 20, 30 years, whatever the case may be, whether they just bought the house or whatever, and it's unbeknownst to them, then being responsible, paying their taxes, paying their water bill, and then this is happening the same thing in New York, where, first it was full up the gentrification, pushing people out, and now we have this, with people possibly losing their homes because of these tax liens that I did a little research on before, just for full transparency. We had a conversation yesterday, and these liens go to Wall Street. And no, this and excuse my French, they don't give a damn. They'll
Right.
sell the lien to the highest bidder or whatever the case may be, and they'll own the house and
Correct.
then sell it from under you and take your deed and everything and
Exactly.
title and stuff like that. And we have to stop this.
We have to
And
stop this. And we have to demand that the council people step up and do something about it, because we voted you in and you represent us. You're supposed to be our voice. Then be our voice. Be our voice. Listen to your constituents. Listen to our complaints. Listen to our pleas. Listen to the stories, which are the same over and over and over again. This is being done systematically. This is not a mistake. This is being done systematically. And let's discuss why. Let's discuss why.
yeah, it's really ridiculous. Let's get into it. When did you first begin researching JCMUA billing?
Again, when it happened to me, when I started receiving these compliance fees with no warning, with no explanation, with no valid excuse, so every time I call, it was a different excuse. You didn't provide us with access to your meter. Nonsense. This property, the meter's been in the same place for 20 years. There's no way I didn't provide you access. And if I didn't provide you access, which by the way, these meters are outside the property. So how can I block access? And if I didn't provide you access, where's the documentation? Where's the logs? Where's the proof? Show me who came, when they came, and at what time they came that I didn't provide access. So then the second excuse, oh, then there must be a loose wire on your meter. I don't think your meter's working properly. It might be malfunctioning. Maybe your battery's dying. Again, prove it. Prove it. Where's the engineer reports? Where's the sketching? Where's the proof? When are you gonna come to fix it? Let me be present when you fix it. If you claim that it's malfunctioning, then I want to see the proof that this meter is allegedly malfunctioning. Show me the evidence with an engineer's report, and then let me be present when you repair it. None of that happened. None of that happened. Still waiting for the documentation, by the way.
We're gonna show a let me just put this comment up because we're an interactive show. It says, the comment says, thank you for all your hard work and dedication and unwavering support throughout the process. I truly appreciate everything you have done and the time you invested on behalf. We're gonna like that here before we go to your video. Yeah, we didn't know it. Accountability, say it. You getting some shout outs here. Love you, Chels. Let them know. And then it says, yes, word of mouth. Thank you for bringing awareness to our Jersey City residents about the erroneous fees on your water bills. And keep the comments coming. We love it, and we're an interactive show, so I will be putting them up as the show goes along. So we're gonna go to your. I'm gonna share this real quick. Bring this up to the stage. Let's see how I can do this. Sorry, people, I'm a one-man band. I don't have producers and stuff like that, so bear with me. I'm gonna add this to the stage. Perfect. All right, let's see how I can do this. This is your Instagram. Hold on one moment. Okay, perfect. What's in that? Oh,
Because I don't have your file or anything
Okay,
like this.
so-
And also, our billing goes through Veolia, but I would suggest.
Yeah, but just
we take your
Veolia, it takes direction from you.
Right. You tell Veolia what to build. So just because Veolia is the building agent doesn't mean that you're not responsible for what you're building.
You're right, but it does mean that right now I don't have any of your information.
Okay, well,
so let me get your contact information.
No problem.
So we can.
I'm gonna send you an email. What is your name?
Let me write down my email. My name's Katie Mako.
What is it?
Katie Mako.
Okay.
Yep.
So do you have a card?
I don't have a card, but I'll write down my email.
Because I'm going to copy everybody. I'm going to send this email out to everybody. I'm going to copy the senators. I'm going to copy the attorney general. I'm going to copy the controller because we're going to find out what's going on here. All right? Let's go.
Don't forget the press.
That's right. And the press. Yeah,
We're
you
doing
got that. You got
right
it.
on here.
There's lots of people with the same complaint, right, Rich? Yep.
Do you want me to put it on
We
here?
talked about it last night. Let's go.
Write it on here.
Yes, please.
Back in the day where no meetings were recorded. That's the press was in one room, so.
Yeah.
That's the case.
And I'll give you all the info I have.
Here's my
Okay, so what is the complaint be about?
Oh, I got you.
Because, right, so here's the ledger, and I'm gonna provide it to you too, sir, the ledger, of all the compliances, and there's no water usage. If you see here, there's no water usage. These are all just compliances. So how do you get a lien on a property that doesn't have any water, not using any water?
There's no property to use water.
Yes, this is compliance fee, this is compliance fee, and then late penalties on those compliance fees.
And then I get told that I
How do you
can't
get
get
$9,000
reimbursed
lien
because
on a property that's not been using water? There's no
compliance
service.
fees are to encourage you to address your matter.
Yeah. So you said, when you call, right, that they'll stop the compliance fees. That's what you said in the meeting last night. He said, when you call, that's in the meeting, he said, when you call Veolia and you call us, we're gonna stop the compliance fee. Okay, that's what he said. 123 years old. August 2025. Where did this come from? John Folk. What does it say? Mr. Santiago. Go ahead, you can read it. I'm sorry, but we cannot put it back compliance. Okay, remember that? We have compliance fees to encourage customers to contact us. In other words, these are punitive fees. The punitive fees. So, but he contacted you. And you said last night in the meeting that if you contact us, we will stop the compliance fees and we will waive them and we'll take care of it. So he did. And you said no. You said we can't. These are punitive fees. Punitive fees are not lienable. And you put $9,000 lien on my cousin's house. So let's talk about that.
Okay, the compliance fees were because there was no meter on the access.
Okay, so because nobody lives there.
There's no property.
How can you? Why do you need a meter on a house that nobody's living there? There's no water consumption. To this day, nobody's living there.
My house is nothing habitable when I
Yeah,
provided you guys
it's still under construction. So how do you justify a $9,000 lien on a house that nobody lives
Let me
in?
interrupt real quick.
Oh, I got you.
Because, right, so here's the ledger, and I'm gonna provide it to you.
Okay, so just to give a little context to the video, that's a JCMUA meeting. They normally have those meetings when? During the day or at night? Should have
They
them at
have
night.
them at their office at 4:00 in the afternoon. Of course, they should happen at night because the homeowner deserves the right to be there. But they happen at 4:00 in the afternoon, somewhere in Timbuktu where there's no public transportation. Nobody knows where this is. And they're held in a little room, a conference room. And nobody's there. Nobody ever goes to these meetings because who can attend a board meeting at 4:00 in the afternoon when they're still at work? That has to change. We have to push some rules that says it has to be held at a time where the homeowner or the residents, the tenants, whoever can attend these meetings. That's very unfair. And it's done for a reason.
And just give a little context more. That was former Councilman Chris Gatson, Ward B councilman, who was in the
That was Chris Gatson. Yes, he's on the board of the JCMUA now.
And I would love to have him on the show on a later date because it doesn't make any sense to me. Go a little deeper into these when you were talking about your cousin's house and stuff and how they're putting a lien and on a property that there's no water for.
So my cousin is his home has been under construction for the past 4 years. There's many things that have happened that has stopped and blocked the process of completing his home. He doesn't have a meter. He doesn't have water usage. There's no water pipe meter connection. To this day, there still isn't no connection. So he gets hit with these monthly compliance fees of $218. He contacts the MUA, he contacts Veolia, he sends them the reports that his house is under construction and that the contractor that he hired actually robbed him, robbed the pipes, robbed the meter, robbed everything. So not only is there no water usage, there's no pipes, there's no water, there's no meter. So how are you hitting me with these compliance fees? There's no water usage. But even though he sent in documentation, even though he called, even though he appealed these compliance fees, which is what they're calling them, they kept coming every month. They kept coming every month. They never stopped. They never stopped, though he disputed them, though he appealed them. He even hired an attorney to help him in the process. They never provided any documentation. They never stopped the fees. And he ended up with 2 liens on his house. Two liens totaling about $9,000 on a home that has no water consumption, but he has a water lien on the house. Explain that to me.
Yeah, we need to get at least one of these board quote unquote on the show to explain themselves. Right. And they need to stop ping-ponging. I saw in the video where, you need to contact Viola. Viola is just, from what you explained to me, is just the agent for JCMUA. JCMUA is the service
billing agent.
Yes.
So, correct. So JCMUA provides the service, right? The water, the sewer, they provide the service. Veolia is their billing agent, and they take direction from JCMUA. Okay, so when you call JCMUA and they tell you, oh, call Veolia, they're the billing agent, as if they don't know what you're being billed. The direction is coming from the JCMUA. You're telling them what to bill us. You're telling them what to do. So don't bounce me back and forth, and don't tell me to go through this appeal form and this appeal process, which other people have gone through, and I haven't heard of one person being approved on their appeal. All appeals get denied and no reasoning behind it. Our appeal committee reviewed your appeal and it's been denied. End of story. That's how that happens.
So they like to be judged.
I'm doing research. I've been doing extensive. Go ahead. I started doing extensive research on what fees are lienable in the state of New Jersey. What fees can be used to place a lien on someone's home? So everything I've come up with, and I've asked a dozen different ways, and I've asked many attorneys, because I've been contacted law firms on this. The answer is the same every time I ask. The law says the only fees that are lienable is service and usage. Service and usage. What is a compliance fee? I ask many times, what is a compliance fee? I have an email from John Folk that says compliance fees are used to encourage the consumer to contact us. So that doesn't sound like usage. That doesn't sound like service. That sounds like a penalty. We're going to charge you this penalty because we want you to call us. I have a video. You played the video. John Folk, I said, compliance fees are punitive fees. And he says, yes. And I say, punitive fees are not lienable. No one contradicts me in that room. No one says, no, you're wrong. No one says that. Then I go to a meeting. Richard Hayes is in this meeting. talking about, you got to contact Veolia if you see a compliance fee. You got to contact us, because if you don't, those fees compound, and then we could put a lien on your house, and we don't want you to lose your house. I talked to him. I said, explain compliance fees to me. What are compliance fees? And then I said, it's not. He says, oh, you didn't pay your water bill. I said, but that's not water. And he says, oh, but it is. I said, how so? It's not usage, it's not service. And then I said, and compliance fees are not lienable. And he says, oh, yes, they are. And I said, how so? And he's like, well, because they're penalty fees. And he says that twice. They're penalty fees because we didn't get access to your meter. So I have confirmation that these compliance fees, also called no access fees, are punitive fees. And they're being rolled into water bills and then being used to place a lien on your house. Show me the legal authority that says you can do this.
It's a shame that it's bullying. That's basically what it is, to get the money that you're bullying the taxpayer, you're bullying the homeowner. I'm a renter, and I've been here since 2019 in Ward B, and I'm down by West Side in between Mallory and Mallory and I'm on Virginia between Mallory and 440 and Bennett. And my landlord, who lives out of Jersey City, he lives like somewhere else, Edison or whatever. He's like, I'm sorry, Raph, but Grayson, I have to go up on your rent, because the water and everything and stuff like that, and the taxes and whatnot. And so, it's really affecting me. I would love to stay in the city. I'm 10 minutes away from the path, and like 15 minutes away from the light rail walking. So I love my area. I don't want to leave. I lived here all my life. But at the end of the day, this is how you push people out. And
Exactly.
Solomon, he ran on affordability, and this is not affordability when you're doing stuff
Absolutely
like
not.
this. And we voted for you to be mayor, to be different than Mayor Fulop. You have to advocate for us, and advocate for the renter, advocate for the homeowner, for your cousins, for them to have that. Doesn't even make any sense. There's no water usage. So
Correct.
that needs to be looked into.
Absolutely, 1,000%. I'm a licensed realtor, right? I'm a licensed realtor. I've been doing this for over 20 years, selling real estate primarily in Jersey City. And I sell real estate promoting the advantages of being a homeowner, how ownership creates generational wealth, so you could pass it down to your children and your grandchildren. But what's happening to us is it's generational transfer of our wealth that we built. We built this city. I've been here, again, 50 plus years. My father's been here 50 plus years. My neighbors have been here 50 plus years. We built this city. We bought these homes so we can have a piece of the pie, not just you. We deserve a piece of the pie as well. And this is how we decided to build our generational wealth. And you're trying to transfer that generational wealth to somebody else who didn't build this city. You're trying to steal it from us. You're trying to take it from us. You got to be out of your mind. I'm not going to stand for it. And I hope that my neighbors, my community stands up with me. We have to stand together, because you know what? Our voices matter. We matter. They work for us. They need to understand that they work for us, not the other way around. Our tax dollars pay for their salary. We voted them into their office. So you're supposed to be our voice. And if you're not a voice, just as much as we put you in, we'll take you out. We will take you out, because we have that power to do that. And people need to stand up and realize, don't be afraid. Speak up. Tell your story. Send in your complaints. Write your complaint, do your appeal. And you know what? If you don't get your answers from the authorities in Jersey City and Hudson County, then keep going up the ladder, because there are other options. And don't be afraid to exercise those options.
Most definitely, because when you don't speak up, that's how people take advantage of you.
And that's what they're doing.
And it's really ridiculous. I've wanted to be a homeowner in Jersey City for so long, and one of the reasons is this is one of the reasons why I can't be. And it's really ridiculous. But then when you rent as well, like I do, all these fees get tacked on and everything like that or whatever. You know, the landlord, they have their bills too, so it's gonna go up in my rent. You know, right now, just to be transparent, excuse me, my rent is $27.50. My lease is gonna expire at the end of this month. If my landlord renews my lease, you best believe my rent probably will go up at least close to $3,000. Especially now with this whole nonsense with the 20% that or 15% that Solomon wants to do, with the Board of Ed nonsense, with their nonsense, and now with the water. He said the main thing, his breakdown is the water with him. And he said the water is just too expensive. You know,
this is what your landlord is saying.
Yeah, mine.
Okay.
Because
Well, did you tell your landlord to look at his bill?
He has a community in the basement, in the ground level, I should say, not in the basement, ground level, a wash and dryer. Though we don't use it, the other tenants do round the clock. So he doesn't charge for it, but that's eating into, his thing. So he's saying it's becoming expensive. The taxes are becoming expensive. And it's really ridiculous. So we have to stick together. I'll be in this fight. Normally with Grayson Politics Live, we try to stay neutral about certain things, but the hell with that. When it's affecting people's politics.
No, this is wrong on so many levels.
You're pulling the rug from homeowners who have been here from Jump Street. I'm 40 years old. I want to stay here. I've heard even Esther, who we both been in contact with, she's like, I want an empty nest in my house and stuff like that. I don't know if I can do that with all this nonsense going on. She was like, I don't know. That's why you see people move to Florida and moved here and this, that, and other. They leave and sell the house to developer or whoever or whatever. And then next thing you know, you see coming soon or whatever the case may be. And that's not how it should be. When you live here all your life and you want to stay here, it should not be that way. And
absolutely not.
There has been let's read a few comments. It says, Grayson, thank you for the support and for all the efforts reading regarding this deeply troubling matter. Your willingness to stand up and speak out and advocate for a community is sincerely appreciated. Well, I thank you for that. But this is the true hero here, right here. I'm just a voicing the using my platform to voice everything. So please thank Grisell for her advocacy and not me, but I appreciate it. The other comment says here, that's right. The government and wealthy want to strip us and our equity. Only they can save money and get tax exemptions. The tax abatements pilots also for the reduction in the water rate. Yep. Because buildings are not being connected to the system correctly. Those three, that General Square crap and the
Yes.
journal and all that, they're
Yeah.
not paying nothing.
No, they're not paying. They're not paying their fair share.
Yeah, they're not.
They got sweetheart deals, you know. They got sweetheart deals that are done behind the scenes. Those sweetheart deals, they're for the wealthy, and then who's going to pay the brunt of that? Since they're not paying their fair of taxes, who does that get allocated to? To the small homeowner. To the small homeowner, which also leads me to ordinance 23-097. Let's talk a little bit about that ordinance.
Get into it. Go ahead.
So in my research, you know, I kept wondering and I kept digging and I kept digging. And the more I dig, the more I find. So I'm saying to myself, why is this happening to the Jersey City residents? Why are these compliance fees they're being allowed to be added to our bills and no one's stepping up to defend us? Like, there's something going on here. Like, why isn't Jersey City doing something about this? Even in the face of the lawsuit, Saddle River, there's a lawsuit. This is not like theory. These are facts. So Saddle River is suing Veolia for overcharging them $4 million. This lawsuit was filed in October of 2025. And here you have your constituents in Jersey City crying foul play that Veolia and JCMUA is overcharging them, extorting them, like charging these compliance fees that make no sense. And then I see this lawsuit that Saddle River is suing them for the same exact thing. That's not coincidence. Like, 2 and 2 equals 4, right? So if I'm telling you that this is happening to me, and then all of a sudden there's a lawsuit saying that it happened to a neighboring town, shouldn't you be looking into that? Shouldn't you be contacting the law firm that filed this lawsuit? Shouldn't you be asking questions saying, hey, our town, our people are crying. Can we ask you some questions? How did you discover this? How is this happening? Why are you suing? Because we want to see if there's a connection here. We want to see if this is a reoccurring story, right? But that's not happening. And I've been pointing it out to everybody. I'm like, have you seen this lawsuit? Because this is disturbing. I'm looking at this lawsuit and I'm like, wow, that kind of mirrors what's happening here, right? So, but nobody's speaking up. Nobody's doing anything about it. So I keep digging. Then I run across ordinance 23097. What's ordinance 23097? I start reading it. I start looking into it. I start digging through it. Ordinance 23097 was signed in 2023. Okay. So I just want to elaborate a little bit. Mayor Solomon is going around with a narrative saying that the prior administration was conducting these one-time gimmicks. I attended a community meeting, so I'm not making this up. This is all public. I attended a community meeting where Mayor Solomon says the prior administration was running the administration, bankrupt. And how they kept it running all these years was through these one-time gimmicks, sell off some properties, generate some income that'll carry us going forward. And they kept coming up with these new gimmicks. So what I discovered is that this ordinance seems to be one of those gimmicks. I'm not going to say it is one of those gimmicks. I want to say it seems to be, right? Because I can't prove it. So when I read through it, it's a franchise agreement with the JCMUA. And the franchise agreement says that the MUA would advance us $30 million. Okay, $30 million in 2023. And then for the following years, 10 million and another 10 million to the total of $50 million. Now we know that the administration needed money. Makes sense, right? So, but it's called a franchise fee agreement, and that they're advancing us franchise money. But when I keep digging, it's fully recoverable. So it has to be paid back. This advance has to be paid back. And how is it being paid back? Through fees. through lienable fees, taxable fees on the properties and the water usage of the residents. So we're paying back, the owners and the renters are paying back this advance. So was it really an advance? If we're repaying it, it feels like it's kind of like a loan, right? Like it's a loan. I mean, call me crazy. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Like the
way
loan,
that it's structured,
Go ahead.
I mean, the way that it's structured, saying that it's fully recoverable on the backs of the homeowners, sounds like a loan because we're paying it back. So I don't know how that works. And it goes as far as saying through any means, as long as it's legal means. So I'm asking, and I'm going to ask again, where are the legal means that are being used to recover this advance $50 million? How is it being recovered legally? Because from what I can see, we're being price gouged. And this all of a sudden came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, compliance fees, tampering fees. Oh, did I talk about the tampering fees? Some people are getting hit with tampering fees as if they tampered with the meter. Again, no proof, no documentation to prove any of this. Frozen water fees, fees that they damaged the meter. It's like, I look up the law. Those meters belong to the JCMUA, and the law says they're responsible for the maintenance of those meters. So how are you hitting the homeowner with a fee that they caused it to malfunction? It doesn't make any sense. Prove it. Where's the documentation? Where's the paper trail? Where are the logs? Where are the reports? Where are the engineering reports? I haven't gotten any of these documentations. I've been asking one of my cases, my cousin has been asking for 2 years. 2 years. There's paper trails and emails and phone calls and all. I mean, it's like, you can't dispute this. Yet he has a $9,000 lien. And the problem with these liens is that when you have a mortgage, your mortgage holder, okay, your lender is going to pay the lien because they need to protect their asset. So they're going to pay the lien whether it's a valid lien or not. They're not going to question it. When you send a lien certification, that means it's certified. It's verifiable that this lien was conducted with all the legal authority to get it done. So the bank is not going to question it. They're paying the lien because as far as the lender is concerned, this was done legally. They pay the lien. Now you have a mortgage, but you also have an escrow account. So this lien goes onto your escrow, and the escrow doesn't roll out for 30 years. The escrow has to be paid within 12 months. You have a 30-year mortgage, and now you have an escrow that you have to pay off on top of your mortgage. So if you have a $12,000 lien, that means you got to pay an extra $1,000 a month back to the bank because of that lien. Oh, and don't forget, you still have to pay your mortgage. So if you have a $2,300 mortgage, now you have a $3,300 a month expense, debt. You have been set back $1,000. A lot of people don't have an extra $1,000 just to throw at a lien that, as far as you're concerned, is not justifiable. And you're asking people to help you because I can't afford this. I can lose my house. I cannot afford $3,300 a month. I cannot afford $4,500 a month. I'm going to lose my house. Help me. This is not $12. This is not $50. This is not $75. We're talking an astronomical amount of money that needs to be explained. And we have to keep pushing and we have to keep demanding for answers. And I have, there's a, and I have to share it with you. There's a flyer that I was given, and there's a QR code on this flyer. And we have one of the council people in Ward F is putting together a petition. They're trying to put together a list of names, a list of people with what is happening to them so that we can show that this is being done systematically and that we could demand for an investigation. So I'll share the flyer with you so you can share it with
Please,
everyone.
yes, most
Yes.
definitely.
They're
And I
putting a list together so they
Mhm.
can go to, I guess, the local council people, or maybe the senators, whoever can launch this investigation. But if we come together in numbers and we have enough people sign this petition, then they can't ignore it. And they have to. They'll be forced to launch an investigation into these practices.
I'll definitely share that petition once it gets in my hands.
Yes, I will
Um,
share it with you. I'm not technology savvy, so I can't do
no,
it right now. I gotta figure out
you
how to
have
do it.
you have my DM, so you
Yeah.
just shoot it right
Yeah.
over there, and I will share it to the people.
Yeah.
Um,
And I just want to be
because
clear about
go
something
ahead.
about me. Yeah, I just want to be clear. I'm not, I didn't wake up wanting to become an advocate. I didn't aspire to be an advocate. I'm not in politics. I'm not aspiring to be a politician. I just have seen an injustice. And once you see an injustice, you can't unsee it. You just can't unsee it. And when I see my community hurting, I hurt because I'm part of this community. This is me. This is home. This is home for me.
We all do, and when
Mhm.
this is all that you know,
Yeah.
that's when it hurts real.
Yes. Yes.
Let's read a few comments before we move on.
Okay.
27.50 in rent. Yeah, I paid 27.50 in rent. And if my lease is renewed, it probably is gonna go up close to 29 or 3,000. Who knows? We'll see. Exactly 100% to hell with the unfair. So we can't stay neutral anymore. We have Juana Pinton. Jersey City has become a developer's paradise, which I agree with.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grisell. We have
You're welcome.
Erica. Yeah, they got bent me over deals. Yep, that's true.
Love
they,
you, Erica.
they don't know what it's like not to be able to eat. That's true. That's very
Correct.
true. I'm struggling here. I work 2 jobs.
Mhm.
So I'm not a rich man. JCMUA actions have caused hardship to too many families, and it needs to stop. Our community deserves transparency, accountability, and fair treatment. Yep.
Amen.
Uh,
Absolutely. Totally agree.
yes, thank you, Grisell, Chella Ramos, for your support and hard work. Yes, we definitely
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
The bigger problem is not enough homeowners are stepping up. Yep, that's true. We all need to band together, renters and homeowners.
Absolutely.
The pilot developers pay a flat reduced fee, not based on consumption. So it's passed on to the residents like the proposed tax increase coming up. Shake my head.
That is
Uh,
true as well. That's a true comment. That's how it works.
JC doesn't care that they already received their kickback. Homeowners are paying back. They don't care about that. They brought already. And then someone said, don't rely on Chris Gatson to ask those. They probably didn't even know because they aren't affected. Well, I've asked the mayor to come on the show. The only 2 people who have come on the show and been transparent, who I've welcomed back, and now I'll ask my council person to and put an invite to come back. What's his name? Joe Brook.
Super.
Joe
And
Brook.
super. Uh-huh.
And Super is very good. I
Mhm.
had him on the show. He's very transparent, straight to the point.
Mhm.
Doesn't give a lot of jargon, political jargon. If he doesn't know something, he'll tell you. I'll get back to you. I like him
I like
too.
him too.
What I will say is this. I've invited the mayor. I put in a request for them. I put in a request for Michael Griffin. I'm calling everybody out. I put
Mhm.
a request for Educational Gilmore, Ward F, though that's not my council person. He told me he'll get back to me. That was months ago. But yet I see him doing his show and stuff like that or whatnot. And, you know, the community show and stuff like that. I have questions for you, sir. You're the one who sit on this council, and I have questions for you. And we have to have you being on your show does not that's a safe space for you. I need to get you a little bit uncomfortable. These politicians, that's the problem. We need to get them a little bit uncomfortable and
Correct.
put them on platforms like this to where
Correct.
they they can start advocating for us. And like you said, if not, come out. This needs to go all the way. And Cory Booker, you're not exempt from this too.
Mm-hmm.
You're rerunning for re-election, and I'll share this out and tag you on it too when I make my clips. You're not exempt from this too, sir. When
Mm-hmm.
the midterms come around, I'll really be thinking about how I sway or whatever. You know, I know you won your primary, but I don't really vote Republican. I'm a registered independent who votes Democrat. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you need to come and investigate this too. I'll put a request in
Absolutely.
for Senator. I think I did for Kim already, for Andy Kim, but I'll do another one request for him. But you know, they're going unanswered because it's all like a little click, and I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I know the reason why. Half of the reason why they don't want to really come
Mm-hmm.
on my show because I ask the tough questions. Erica does too,
Yes.
and you know, Esther, all of us,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
who they don't, you know, who make them feel uncomfortable. They don't want to be bothered. They leave the emails unanswered. They leave
Correct.
the, you know, thing. That's why you had to not act out. That's why you had to get animated in that
Yes.
meeting. You
Yes.
know,
Exactly. You know, because my cousin, even with the help of an attorney, he even hired an attorney, and that didn't even help. So I said, you know what? Let's just show up. Let's just show up to their meetings and confront them. And that made them very uncomfortable. If you saw their reactions, if you read that room, they were not expecting it. They weren't prepared with the answers, and I took them off guard. And that's what you got to do. You got to keep taking them off guard. Oh yeah, you need to. So, let's talk about the Oprah request, Erica. Thank you for bringing that up. So, I when it happened to me, I decided that I didn't have all my bills in front of me. I needed to go through my bills, and I wanted a detailed accounting of my billing because I wanted to see how far back this went and how long they were doing this and what other fees they were throwing into my account that I was unaware of. I went onto their website. If you go onto the Veolia website and you're a homeowner, you will quickly find out that they only maintain 2 years of records on the website. 2 years of records. Once again, the law says municipal utility companies need to keep 6 years, not 2, 6. So then you have to go and put in an Oprah request for the rest of your bills, going back 6 years. So I submitted an Oprah request through the law, through the proper processes. Here's my Oprah request. Please provide me with the past 4 years of my bills because your website only reflects 2 years. The reply was, we have no responsive records for your request. Excuse me? What do you mean you don't have no responsive records to my request? You don't have the details of my bills that you billed me, the money that I paid to you? What do you mean you don't have it? So I wrote again. And again, they wrote back, we have no responsive answers for your request. Absurd. So I went up the ladder and I submitted a formal complaint to the GRC. Okay, I submitted because there are different agencies that you can go to escalate these issues. So I submitted a formal complaint to the GRC saying, hey, I went to Jersey City tax collector and I went to the custodian of records of the JCMUA and I requested my records, my bills, and they denied me. They said that there was no responsive records. I find that hard to believe. I submitted with the proof. They asked you to submit your complaint with proof to accompany your complaint. And I got back an email saying that my complaint was valid based on my proof, and they were going to launch an investigation, which they did. When the JCMUA received the paperwork from the GRC regarding the investigation, they hired an attorney. They hired an attorney to block the access to my records. And they said, from this moment forward, all communications, we've been retained to represent the JCMUA, blah, blah, blah. Like this got serious just because I asked for copies of my bills. It blew my mind. I'm like, holy mother of God, what the hell are in those bills that they went to an attorney to block access to those bills? What are in there that is going to implicate some kind of wrongdoing? To this is like 3 months ago. I'm still waiting on an answer because the GRC says they have like 700 complaints. And so they'll get to mine when they get to mine, because I replied to that. I'm like, this is insanity. They hired an attorney, by the way, using my money because I'm a taxpayer. So they're hired an attorney to obstruct justice with my money to obstruct my request with my money. Explain that to me. My money. And I can't get copies of my bills. Insanity. And why can't I get copies of my bills? What are in the details of those bills that you don't want me to see? Interesting. So if you have submitted an Oprah request and you have gotten the answer that there is no responsive records to your request, just know that you could escalate it to the GRC and file a formal complaint, and they will investigate it. And for those of you who have requested your records and have been denied, submit your formal complaint to the GRC immediately, because that way the GRC will see this pattern and they will launch a bigger investigation.
And just to be transparent, what does GRC stand for, just for the audience?
Oh, you got me there. It is, let's look it up. Let's look it up together, because I am bad with those things. I'm good with acronyms. So I'll tell you what the GRC is.
I'll put it in the comments. Hold on.
Yeah, let's do that together.
GRC.
Mm-hmm. That's the authority that you go to go above their heads and submit your complaint in regards to Oprah requests. Mm-hmm.
Government Records Council, the state agency that helps people understand Oprah, and the GRC handles the
right. So it's the Government Records Council.
Mm-hmm. And they handle disputes between the public and the government agencies regarding delays and rejected requests. So I'll put that into the comments so everyone can, full transparency. And someone else I want to call out.
So Grayson, you cut in and out there.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, because you've been cutting in and out. It's intermittent.
Yeah, sorry about that. So someone else I want to call out too, while we're calling people out, is locally, you're the Democratic nominee for commissioner, and I believe she sits on chief of staff for Michael Griffin, who I can't get an answer from, by the way. Pam Nicole Johnson. I've requested before you even became the nominee.
You're cutting out. You're buffering.
Buffering? Hold on. Still buffering or no? Can you hear me? Better or worse? Hold on.
Grayson, you're kind of frozen.
Remove. Okay, we back.
You're back.
Okay, good. So sorry about that. Little technical difficulties with my Verizon Wi-Fi here. Who I pay a lot of money for and shouldn't be happening. But um, Pam Nicole Johnson, I have a lot of utmost respect for you. Never met you in person. Love to have a conversation with you, but you've been dodging me. I believe you're chief of staff for Michael Griffin, and you're the Democrat nominee for the commissioner for, I believe, District 3. So, these people, they want to be in public office, but then they don't respond to emails. They don't respond to when you request for them for an interview to get answers and stuff like that, or whatever, or they be a part of this little clique. So I'm not going to jump to conclusions. Well, I am, because now I'm starting to connect the dots here, and I don't really give a damn whether they do come on the show or don't. I'll be happy if they do, because it's for the people. It's not to my benefit, because I make no money off this. Okay. So it's really for the people, number one. So when we want answers, we see you at City Hall, grandstanding. Come on platforms like this, so you can interact with the people. And it's really disappointing when you don't when you I don't know. I love Angela McKnight. I'll say this. When she was assemblywoman, she was great. As a senator, she's very responsive. But we need more people like that. And we'll get into her a little bit. I don't want to take too much of your time more, but my whole
Yes.
point is that
And I'm glad you mentioned Senator McKnight, because
go ahead.
Mhm.
Go ahead with Senator go ahead.
This is very intimate in the connection, but I just wanted to say, yes, I'm glad you mentioned Senator McKnight, because Senator McKnight has reached out to us. She has gotten involved. I think she's done a good job, asking the right questions. However, even though she's a senator and she's requested the documents, they haven't even provided the documents to her. And she's a senator. So that speaks volumes to me. If she's requested the documents to prove that these compliance fees are justifiable and being applied according to the law, if they're not giving documents to her, how much harder do you think it is for the homeowner? How much harder do you think it is for a layman like me, just a regular Joe Schmo, to get these documents? If they won't even provide them to a senator. But, I appreciate her efforts. I appreciate what her office is doing, in asking questions and reaching out to us, asking how they can help. And because she is involved in creating different types of bills and litigation, legislation, I should say, for Jersey City, there are things that she can do to help. And initiate and introduce new ordinances, new bills to curb what's happening, to stop what's happening. I mean, we can't go back and undo this contract, but we can go forward and change it. We can amend it. We can implement new policies to stop what's happening, to eliminate what's happening, to curb what's happening, so that this doesn't continue going forward. I know it's a 40-year contract, and I know we can't take it back, but we can fix it. We can fix it. We can't fix it all, but there are things we can do. And we're calling on our senators to do that. We're calling on them to, I don't know if you caught that because my connection cut out.
I caught it. You said you calling on the senators to go ahead, continue. That was the last thing that I heard.
Okay, say that again.
That was I heard you say, the last thing I heard you say was we're calling on the senators to.
Yes, we're calling on the senators to introduce new legislation to fix these problems, because, like, again, we can't go back and cancel the contract. The monies have already been advanced. What's done is done. We can't go back, review this, amend it, and introduce new policies, new ordinances, new bills to stop these questionable billing practices, because it's hurting the community. So do more, and in the words of Councilman Labarro, do better.
I like him. I'm so glad he's back on that council. He's a true advocate.
Me too.
For the people.
And he's a true local. Which is what we need.
Yes.
If you don't live in Jersey City, you don't care about what's happening in Jersey City because it doesn't affect you. And I think we need to start, pushing those policies that if you are a politician in Jersey City, if you work for the government agencies of Jersey City, then you're required to live in Jersey City, because when you don't care what's happening here. You're going to vote whatever because it doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect your taxes. It doesn't affect your children or your grandchildren. So you don't care. We need to hold people accountable and make sure that they live here. Because if you're going to be voted into office and you're going to be voting and on policies that affect me, then you better live here, because it better affect you too.
You're very right. You're very much right. And if we can't pay our bills, we can't pay the taxes, we can't pay the politicians, and the people who are taking these big salaries. Rolando should run for mayor in 4 years.
Rolando's awesome. I agree. Rolando's a great guy.
I do agree with that. And I'm kind of glad that they followed suit. They seem like they follow suit. Though Ridley is the council person, during that meeting, they did not. Once he said something, they all followed suit, because I was told that, and correct me if I'm wrong, if Little, Councilman Little, who's Ward E, Councilman, my council person, Jeff Brooks, and Singh, who is councilwoman at large, all wanted to vote for that tax increase. But it seems like when Rolando had said something, that's when all of it was a 9-0 vote across the board.
Because he
Because
doesn't talk nonsense. He talks
yeah, and
sense.
he told the mayor, he was like, I ran on your ticket, and I really don't give a damn about
Yes.
Whether this hurts me politically or not. I have to fight for the people, and that's
Yeah.
what a true politician is about. I'm gonna request him on the show too, because that's the politics that we need there. Zupa, him, I like stuff like that.
Me too. I agree. I agree with both. I like Zuba. I like Lavaro. I think they're stand-up guys. I met with Jake Efros today. I don't know him. He's new. He's the new kid on the block, but he made himself available to me. I sat with him and he was willing to listen. And I know that he's overwhelmed with everything that's happening in Jersey City today. But the fact that he gave me his time is truly appreciated. And shout out to Jake Efros. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being the new kid on the block, but putting in the time.
Yeah, when you run for public office, I don't want to hear that you can't be available. That goes for all of them. So kudos to him for doing his job, what he's supposed to do. But you don't get a pat on your back. But we're gonna commend, because, like I said, the people who I called out earlier, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and you want to be in. Somebody you are aspiring, or you're in this clique of politics, and you're not doing what you're
Correct.
supposed to do. Coming on platforms
Right.
like mine, coming on platforms like Erica's, and then you say, oh, well, whatever the case may be, Councilman Chris Gatson, when you got on this board, I asked you to come on to talk about your position and stuff. Next thing you know, I see you on the JCMUA, which I don't care. I don't care. You can sit on whatever board you want. I don't think they get paid for it or whatever.
No, that's what I've heard and that's what I read, that they don't get a salary.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you got some, like what Ricky Ricardo used to say, Lucy, you got some explaining to do. Let's get it there. Let's go, because this needs to stop. Yes, and I will have you back on the show. We're gonna do we're running a little late with the I said it was gonna be an hour, and then so we're gonna do a little rapid fire something.
Running a little bit more.
Yeah, so sorry about that, and that's my fault. Hold on, let me get my media assets here, my little rapid fire. So we mainly when I interview a lot of people, it's mainly people who are aspiring to be in office. You are an advocate. I had Erica on, who is an advocate, a woman of all trades. You're a woman of all trades. So to get the people to just get to know you, they know the hard part about you. So we just want to get to know you just a little. So we call this rapid fire. This is the fun part of the
Okay.
Cats or dogs?
You know what? I like both, but I'm more inclined to say dogs because dogs are man's best friend. And I had a dog and he passed away. I've never had a cat, but I'm going to say dogs.
Okay. God bless. Pizza or tacos?
Tacos, 100%. No doubt about it. Tacos, especially fish tacos, my favorite.
Morning or night person? Did you catch that?
Morning, because every day is a new start to get things right.
That's true. It's like
Morning.
a
I'm
restart.
a morning person.
Favorite holiday?
Yes. Halloween. I love to get dressed up. I love to, play the role of a witch or a doctor. It's being a kid again.
Favorite Jersey City event?
Halloween. Once again, I love Halloween in my community. They go all out. There's a parade. Even the dogs have a parade. This again goes back to old Jersey City. Old school Jersey City when we weren't this big city. We were this community, and Halloween brings out that community, and it's so special. And last Halloween, I almost got emotional because there was hundreds of kids up my block. I haven't seen that in years, and it was a beautiful thing to see. Yeah.
My favorite time, and maybe I'm a little biased because my birthday is December 24th.
Okay.
So it's Christmas for me. Is even though Christmas is not what it used to be 30, 40 years ago or whatever, the essence of it. But I know on Ward F on Claremont and Martin Luther King Drive, there used to be a house. And I think that house got sold, if I'm not mistaken, or if it's still through the generation of the family, I hope that you bring it back. But what they used to do was they used to light up their house, put a big Santa, and then the homeowner used to dress up as Santa and then give out candy canes. And PSC&G used to
Sponsor?
They used to give them a break off their electric bill every year for lighting up the house because it was like a community thing. People used to come and see this house on and stuff. I'm telling my age.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like little things like that. If you're not from Jersey City, you don't, it's like you said about community and little things like that. We don't see that a lot now because of the gentrification and the yuppies, the New York yuppies coming into our communities and stuff and just switching things up. One word that best describes Jersey City to you?
Home.
I agree with that. Biggest misconception about Jersey City?
The biggest misconception is that we are one big city. We are not. We are a collection of communities with our own history, with our own culture, with our own identity, with our own cuisine. We are not one big city. We are a cluster of communities that make up this city. That is the biggest misconception about Jersey City, because Jersey City is a big city. And I feel we weren't meant to be this big city with the high rises. I loved my old Jersey City, my old neighborhoods where we all knew each other, when every mother knew every child, where every child knew every parent, every corner, every bodega. Now, we're all strangers.
Favorite book?
That's a good question. Favorite book? I'm going to have to say the Bible.
Nice.
I'm going to have to say the Bible.
And then last one, favorite quote? Could be from anyone.
I'm gonna quote, and I know this is not my father's quote, but I'm gonna quote my father. My father would always say, whenever we would say, "Hey, that was great, have a beautiful day," and he would always say, "You know what? Life is good, but the best is yet to come."
Nice. Yes. So I want to thank Grisell for first of all coming on. Stay. I'm gonna put you in the background real quick because we're gonna talk off air. But I want to thank her for coming on the show. Thank you for advocating for things like this. We're gonna have you back a little later on, sometime when your schedule permits, and see if we can get change to this because it's affecting everyone in Jersey City with this water bill and these compliance fees. And I know you didn't want to use the word, but I'm gonna say it. It really is fraud. It really is, because at the end of the day, and we don't censor here on Grayson Politics Live. It really is. How will you, if somebody's not connected to anything, uh, are you gonna just tack on fees and this, that, and the other? Doesn't make any sense to me. And if and damn sure it doesn't make any sense to the homeowner or the renter or whoever, or any Jersey City resident. So we thank you. I'm gonna close out. Well, I'm gonna close out with you up here, so that's fine. Thank you for everyone for watching. I appreciate you. Tune in. Maybe next week I will let you know. I'll keep you posted. But we have a lot of issues to tackle. A lot of things are going on in this city, need to be addressed and need to be fixed. Like I said, Grisell said, that ordinance cannot be. It's a 40-year thing. I don't know why people who have rubber stamped, like Councilman Ridley, who you can all come on the show too, you rubber stamped and voted for that. Which I don't get, but now you change your tune politically to get on that, get to be council president. For full transparency, Councilman Gilmore did not vote for that, and Councilman Solomon did not vote for that. But Councilman Ridley, you voted for that, and this is why I criticize. One of her aides had reached out to me when she was running for election this past election cycle, and was like, oh, you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. I'm just calling a spade a spade. If you're not doing what you're doing and you're rubber stamping what Fulop has done, you should not be sitting on that council, because you're part of the problem. You are part of the problem and not the solution. And now you want to change your tune and get 95,000 to 100,000 a year and stuff like that. I mean, her and what's his name, Gilmore, I'm both for making that, because he sits like as pro tempo or whatever the term is used, or whatever the case may be. Like if in her absence, he's council president or whatever, and it's like that's our tax money. And for somebody who has done that, who has voted for that, you need to be held accountable. You need to come on platforms like this and others that hold you accountable. You should not be on that council or voting for stuff like this, because you hurt the people. It hurts the people down the line. Now look what you did. Sat on that council for 8 to 10 years or 12 years or whatever, and now look at this shit right now. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's it's uncalled for. It's a betrayal. It's a betrayal of the people. It's a huge betrayal.
Exactly.
Yeah, because this hurts, and it hurts to the core, because you backstabbed us. You backstabbed us. You didn't represent us. You let this happen, and you let it be on the backs of the people that trusted you. We trusted you, and you let this happen, and no one was transparent. No one's being held accountable, and there's no one to turn to. Everyone is blindsided when I come to them about these issues, because they're like, what do you mean this is happening? I'm like, you're the politician. How are you not aware? Why am I doing your job? Why am I bringing this to your attention? Now, I know some of the new council people were not on council. So that's why, again, I'm giving kudos to Jake Efros for taking the time to learn about this, because he wasn't there when it happened. He's not aware of these processes, of these questionable billings, of these ordinances. But he's going to look into it, and he lent me his ear. But if you sit there and here's the problem that I'm facing. Okay, you asked me before, what is the biggest problem I'm having about speaking out? The biggest problem about speaking out is that the people I'm speaking out to are not doing the work. They're making phone calls, they're asking questions, and that's all, that's it. Well, we made the phone call and this is what they said. And you believe them? That's not doing the work. Dive into it. Do the research. Do your due diligence and see if what they say, what they're telling you, matches the facts. Because I could tell you a story, any story, and you know, I could tell you I own the Brooklyn Bridge, and you're gonna believe it just because that's what I tell you, or are you gonna do the research and you're going to prove and look into the facts? But that's what I'm getting. Well, we made some phone calls and this is what they said, and maybe you should just set up a payment plan and, you know, and start the appeal process. Are you kidding me? We've been over this. We're past that. This has been going on for 2 years. Why are you running me around in circles? Why are you running around? Do the work. Do the work. Don't make me do the work. You're getting paid for this. Do the work. Do your due diligence. Do what you were voted in office to do.
On that note, we're going to end the show. We thank you so much for coming on. We're going to invite you back. With that being said, this is Grayson Politics Live. I'm Grayson, and I appreciate you. Until next time.
And thank you, Grayson, for providing this platform. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all your hard work. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Grayson Media, a Grayson Media Inc. production. We'll see you on the next show. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. Grayson out.